Hi guys, welcome back to another Bascotech video. In this video, we are going to learn about variables and data types in Python programming language. A Python variable is a reserved memory location to store values. In other words, a variable in a Python program gives data to the computer for processing. Okay, let us begin with Python variables. So now I'm going to create Python file for variable.py var.py. Okay, first of all we have to look at the Python variables naming rules. In Python, variable can only begin with a capital letter or small letter or an underscore. For example, when I begin with number 1, num1 equals to 100, let's print this value 1 num and open the terminal to run this Python. Type Python, okay, the name of the file var.py. When I enter this command, it says invalid decimal literal, so we don't have to begin with number 1 here. So to solve this one, I have to remove 1 here and at the end num1. Now the problem is solved. Num1. Let's run again. 100 is work. This is the variable naming rules. Also, the rest of the identifier may contain letters A up to Z, capital A up to Z, or small letter A up to Z, or you can begin with underscores. For example, comment this output, we can begin with underscore. For example, underscore num1 equals to 200. Let's print this value underscore num1. Let's run again this file. 200, the output is 200. That means it's work. Then Python is case sensitive, and so our Python identifiers name and name are two different identifiers. For example, let me declare name and name in different cases. Name is a small letter. Name, for example, Tom. Prints name. The first N is capital letter, but this one is small letter. Let's run this code. Now we got the syntax error here. Name is not defined. Here, this name was not defined. It says do you mean name? So this name and this one name is not the same. So Python is case sensitive. Let's say Jerry. Now let's run this code. It says Jerry. That means this name and this name is not the same. That means case sensitive. Okay. Now we also again we cannot declare variable name with keywords. There are a lot of keywords in Python. For example, end. This end is keywords or reserved words, so you don't have to declare with keywords or reserved words. Let's see this code. Let's declare end and 100. Let's print this value. End. when I run this code, here is invalid syntax because end is reserved words, so you don't have to put, or you don't have to declare with keyword values. Okay, let's remove this one. Okay, let's assign and reassign the Python variables. Here I have 100, for example, num1, let's say a equals to 100. This one is assigning a value to variable a or identifier a. So I can print this value. Print a. Run this file. Then the output is 100. So let me reassigning this variable. Let's type a again. 200. Let's print the value of a again. See, the output is 100 and 200. This is the first assigning to the variable a. This is the second one. So this is the method that we are going to assign and reassign the value to the variables. Okay, let's see now the multiple assignment. Here in Python, you can, let's remove this first. In Python, you can assign multiple value to the variable. For example, let's declare a, comma b, comma c. Let's assign with the value 100. 100 is for a. Remember this one. After this variable, I put comma here, and b, comma c equals to this 100 goes to a, 200 goes to b, 300 goes to c. Let's print the value of those variables. Print a, comma b, comma c. Let's print this value. See, the output is 100, 200, 300. So you can assign multiple value to the different variables. Okay, let's see swapping mechanism. Swapping variables. We can swap the variables. For example, let's remove this all things. For example, num1 equals to 100 and num2 equals to 200. Let's print the value of this variable. Print num1, let's say the value of num1, then put comma here, num1, and print the value of this thing. Say the value of num1 is, let me put is, and copy and paste, and we have to print the value of num2 here, num2. Let's print again. Says the value of num1 is 100, the value of num2 is 200. Okay, let's swap these variables. Let's swap this variable. Swapping means interchanging values. So to swap in Python variable, you don't need to do much. So first of all, you have to num1, num2 equals to num2 and num1. This means this is num1, the first variable. This is num2, second variable. So the value of num2 goes to num1. The value of num1 goes to num2. Okay, let's print again this value. Run. Did you see? The value of num1 is 100 the first time. Second one is the value of num2 is 200. After swapping the variable, we can get the value of num1 is 200, the value of num2 is 100. This means swapping. Okay, let's see deleting the variables. In Python, we can delete the variables. Let me remove this code. For example, num1 equals to 200. Num1 equals to 200. Let's print the value of num1. Num1. Let's print code again. 200. The value of num1 is 200. Okay, let's delete this variable. So the keyword of delete is del, del equals to none. So num1. You have to put del and space the variables that you want to delete. Let's print the value of num1 again after deleting. Save. Run this code. Now it says name num1 is not defined because after this code the variable of num1 is deleted. It says name num1 is not defined. This is a mechanism of deleting variables in Python. Okay guys, let's see the type of Python. Let's see the overview of Python data type. The data type of variable determines which operation can be applied to it. Once a variable is assigned a data type, it can be used for computation in the programs. Okay, there are two kinds of data types, both of which are further divided into subtypes. There are primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types is data types which are predefined and supported by the programming language. There are integer, string, Boolean, and float. Non-primitive data types are data types which are derived from the primitive data types and offer increased in functionality of those data types. There are lists, array, files, tuples, and sets. Okay, let's see one by one. First of all, I'm going to show you primitive data types, which is integer. The first one is integer. First of all, let's create Python file. Let's see dt.py. dt.py. Okay, so let's see integer first. Okay, integer data type. Integer represents numeric data. They represent whole numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. So let's do some code. Integer 1 is equals to 100. It's equals to 100. Integer 2 is equals to 200. Print type is to get the data type of that variable. Type integer 1 or integer 2, no problem. Let's run this code. Python, let's maximize this one. Python dt.py. Okay, it says class. It says class int. This means this variable, the variable of this data type is what? Integer. Okay, so we can do with integer data type, for example, print integer 1. We can sum, add integer 2. Let's copy and paste. We can subtract each other. We can multiply, divide, and module. Okay, let's run this code again. See, we can get the sum of two variables, we can get the subtraction of two variables, we can get also the multiplication of two variables, that means integer 1 and integer 2. Also we can get the division of this variable and the modulo of or the remainder of these two variables. Okay, we can do such like this with integer data types. Okay, let's see, let's uncomment this. Let's see string data type, string. Okay, let's create a variable with data type of string. For example, name equals to Tom. Name is equals to Tom. Okay, let's see this data type, this variable is string or not by type print type name. Okay, let's run this code again. It says class string over here. It says class string. That means this variable or the data type of this variable is string. So we can concatenate two variables. For example, let's say first name equals to Tom, and second or last name equals to Jerry. Let's give this space, and we can concatenate this variable. First name plus last name. Let's run again this code. It says Tom and Jerry. We can concatenate this variable, this string variable. Okay, this is our string variable. We can do such like this with string data type. Okay, let's see Boolean data type. Okay, Boolean data type is Boolean type only has two types of return value, true and false. These return value are interchangeable with the integer value of 1 and 0. Okay, let's code something here. Let's say greater, for example, greater is equals to false. First we have to initialize this Boolean variable with false, and let's initialize num1 equals to 100 if num1 greater than or equals to 100 or greater than or equal to 90. Let's say greater than 90. Greater equals to true. Greater is equals to true. Greater is equals to true. Else or remove this one. Print here greater. Greater. First of all, we initialize this greater false. So, and we initialize num1. This is integer data type. Num1 by 100. If num1 greater than 90, we can change the greater to true. So let's run this code. It says true because num1 is 100. So num1 is greater than 9 and 90. 100 is greater than 90. True. It changes true. Okay, let's change this 20. and let's run code false because pen is not greater than 90, it's less than 90. So we can do such like this with a Boolean data types. Let's uncomment this and let's see the last one, the primitive data type. It is float. By using a float, float points are used for relational numbers that usually end with a decimal figure. For example, salary is equals to what? For example, 2000.50, or average is equals to 99.9. Those type of numbers, relational numbers, are float data type. Okay, let's see this float or not. Type salary, for example. Let's run this code again. It says float. Class is float or data type is float. So we can do the relational number with float data type. Also, we can add those things. For example, 8 equals to 12.5. B equals to 30.40. For example, let's sum up this thing. A plus B. Let's run this code. Say 42.9. So we can do such like this with float data type of the Python. Okay, let's uncomment this. Now let's see non-primitive data types. First of all, we have to see the lists. List data type. Okay. We can, for example, Python lists are used for store a collection of heterogeneous items or the same items. They can be recognized by their square bracket which hold element and separated by a comma. For example, let's say car name, my car collection. For example, my car collection equals to my car collection. For example, let's create a bracket here, and for example BMW Tesla Model S, Bentley, and so on. So we have the same item here, BMW, Tesla Model S, Bentley. Those are my car collection. So let's print this value. Print my car collection, for example. Let's run this code. Let's see this code. Okay, let's delete this shell. New terminal. Okay, let's run this code again. It says BMW, Tesla Model S, and the Bentley. Those index have their own index value. For example, the first one is 0, the second one is 1, and the third one is 2. It starts from 0. Okay, let's print the value of BMW only. So what we can do is we have to set the index value. For example, 0. I only print the value of the first element. All the first elements start from 0 indexes. Okay, my car collection bracket 0. Let's print this value again. See, the output is BMW. So we can do such things by using a list primitive data type. Okay, let's comment this value. Okay, let's see dictionary. Okay, dictionary is an unordered or changeable and indexed collection of elements. In Python, dictionary are written with curly brackets and contain keys and a value. It have a keys and a value. For example, let's say again my car collection. For example, my car collection equals to and curly brace. We have to create a open a curly brace and the type. For example, brand, we can say brand, comma, brand. Let's say this my car, BMW, for example, BMW, comma, let's create another key is key, brand, and for example model or manufactured dates. Let's say 2021. Let's add another last key, for example, horsepower equals to or 800 horsepower, and we have to close. Okay, sorry, we have to close this dictionary just like this. Okay, also it have a key and a value. This is the key, brand, and the value is BMW. Key mandate, the value is 2021 manufactured date. The key horsepower and the value is 800 horsepower. Okay, let's run this code. Print my car. Let's print this value. It says brand BMW, manufactured date 2021 horsepower. Also, we can print the brand one, BMW 2021, by using a key. For example, let's open the brackets and type a brand. When I print this, it says BMW. Let's change the brand to manufactured dates. Let's print this value again. It says 2021. Okay, we can do such things with dictionary primitive, non-primitive data types. Okay, this is all about I have for this video. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.